Have you ever done something just because everyone else was doing it? Not because you fully agreed with it, not because you thought it was right, but simply because everyone else seemed to accept it. Maybe you laughed at a joke you didn't fully understand. Maybe you went along with an opinion you weren't fully convinced by. Or maybe you stayed silent because no one else was speaking up. And in the moment, it didn't feel important. Felt normal, almost automatic. But this small behavior is not small at all, because it reveals something deeper about human nature. Most of the time, people don't think entirely on their own. They think in relation to others. And once you begin to notice that, you start seeing it everywhere. The hidden pressure of crowds. Humans often believe they make independent decisions. We like to think we carefully evaluate situations, weigh evidence, and then choose our own path. But in reality, our decisions are constantly shaped by the people around us. Not always directly, but quietly, subtly. When we see others doing something, our brain quickly assumes it must be acceptable, or even correct. This is known as social proof. It is one of the strongest psychological forces in human behavior. It explains why trends spread so quickly, why opinions can become popular almost overnight, and why large groups of people can sometimes be right, but also sometimes be completely wrong. What makes it powerful is that it doesn't feel like pressure. It feels like certainty. And when enough people believe something, it starts to feel obvious, even if it isn't. That is where the real influence begins, because the crowd doesn't need to force you. It only needs to exist. The Asch experiment. In the 1950s, psychologist Solomon Asch conducted one of the most famous experiments in psychology. The setup was simple. Participants were shown a card with several lines on it. They were asked a basic question. Which line matched the correct length? The answer was obvious. Almost anyone could get it right instantly. But there was a hidden detail. Every other person in the room was actually part of the experiment. They were instructed to intentionally give the wrong answer at certain times. At first, the real participant would confidently give the correct answer. There was no confusion. But then the group began to respond differently. One after another, they chose the wrong line. And something surprising happened. The real participant started to hesitate. They looked again. They reconsidered what seemed obvious just moments before. And eventually, many of them gave the wrong answer too, even when the correct answer was still clearly visible. Later, some participants admitted something important. They didn't believe the group was right, but they felt uncomfortable standing alone against everyone else. This experiment revealed something powerful about human behavior. People don't only want to be correct, they want to belong. And belonging often feels more important than being right. Why we are wired this way. To understand why this happens, we have to step back far before modern life. Thousands of years ago, humans lived in small groups. Survival was not guaranteed. The environment was unpredictable, and danger was constant. In that world, being separated from the group was extremely risky. If the group suddenly ran and you stayed behind, you might not survive. If the group believed something was dangerous and you ignored it, you could be exposed. So over time, the human brain developed a simple rule. Staying with the group is safer than standing alone. This instinct became deeply embedded in our thinking. And even though the world has changed completely, the instinct remains. Today, we are not escaping predators or surviving in the wild. But the brain still reacts in similar ways. We still feel discomfort when we stand out. We still feel uncertainty when we disagree with the majority. And we still feel safer when we align with others. The environment changed, but the wiring stayed the same. Modern crowds and social media. In the modern world, crowds are no longer limited to physical spaces. They exist everywhere online. On social media, we are constantly surrounded by signals of popularity. Likes, shares, comments, views, and without even realizing it, our brain starts interpreting these signals as meaning. If millions of people like something, it must matter. If thousands agree with a comment, it must be true. But popularity is not the same as accuracy. Still, the brain often treats it that way. This is why ideas can spread so quickly online, even when they are incomplete or incorrect. Because we are not just consuming information, we are also consuming the reactions of other people. And those reactions shape how we think. Over time, it becomes difficult to tell the difference between what we believe and what we have simply absorbed, because the crowd online never stops speaking, and it never stops influencing. Authority and obedience. Crowds don't only influence us horizontally, through other people. They also influence us vertically, through authority. In another well-known study, participants were instructed to give electric shocks to another person. Even when the person appeared to be in distress, even when it felt wrong, many participants continued, not because they wanted to cause harm, but because someone in authority told them to continue. This shows another layer of human behavior. We don't only follow groups, we also follow leadership within groups. A confident voice, a position of power, someone who appears certain. Even when our internal instincts disagree, authority can override doubt, and that makes it one of the most powerful influences of all. Why it still matters. The crowd is not inherently good or bad. In many cases, it is incredibly useful. It helps humans coordinate. It spreads knowledge quickly. It allows societies to function at scale. But it also creates a hidden risk. Because when everyone assumes the group is right, very few people stop to question it. And when no one questions it, even incorrect ideas can become widely accepted. The more people believe something, the harder it becomes to challenge it. Not because it is true, but because it is shared. That is where the real danger lies. Final reflection. So why do humans follow the crowd? Because deep down, we are built for connection. We are built for safety in numbers. We are built to avoid standing completely alone. And for most of human history, that was the correct strategy. But in today's world, automatic following is no longer always helpful. Sometimes it leads to truth, but sometimes it leads away from it, which means awareness becomes essential. Because once you understand how powerful the crowd really is, you gain a rare ability, the ability to pause before you follow, the ability to question what feels automatic, and the ability to choose your own direction, even when it feels uncomfortable. And that moment, that small moment of awareness, is where independent thinking actually begins.